We're about 5 minutes for showtime, so y'all ease on over here and get your seat.
From the Janes Gang Ranch in Orchard, Texas, you're watching Bucking Bull TV live coverage of the 2014 Buck Day and Barbecue. Today's broadcast is being brought to you by EG, Exclusive Genetics, home of the $1 Million Bucking Bull Championship.
Good morning, Buck and Bull fans. Jeff Bressler, along with my broadcast partner, Jerry Hargis. Jerry, we're here for the second day of the Janes Gang annual Buck Day and Barbecue taking place on the Janes Gang Ranch in Orchard, Texas. Last night we had some bull riding, won by the Great Bull Biohazard. Even though there wasn't any covered rides last night, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a really exciting format, where you add the bull rider time to the bull score. It really, each second they ride, it counts. So even if a guy only rides 6 or 7 seconds, that's helping the bull out, and fans get excited as well.
Today we're going to have 2 special events taking place during this segment. One is the underdog class. Underdog class is for bulls that have never scored above 84 points. Now, the underdog has gone on all year, Jerry, when Billy Janes holds his champion tour events, and it's sort of the opportunity for bulls that can't make it into the champions class to buck. What I'm expecting to see today, though, out of the underdog, and this is the last time the underdogs are really going to buck, is maybe 1 or 2 bulls are going to step forward that might have the possibility of making it into the 2014 $1 Million Buck and Bull Championship.
Yeah, that's right, Jeff. The last underdog event we had 3 or 4 bulls jump up that 85, 86 point score, so it kicked them out of this class and also made them contender for possible the top 25 at the end of the year.
So who do you like?
Well, I tell you what, as you look through this champions class here, we've only got 12 bulls competing against each other. And there's almost $10,000 up for grabs. So first place is going to pay $4,500. It's pretty amazing. You only got to beat 11 bulls to win $4,500. But on paper, there's a bull, Jungle Wizard, and he come in one of the top bulls. I think he's second place at the last event here. And the bull that beat him is not competing. So actually on paper, he's the best one here. But like we've seen before, any of these 12 can come up and take that top spot.
So 2 classes again. Once again, Jerry talking about the champions class, looking at that bull, Jungle Wizard. I was impressed with Who's Seasick and the way he performed in Las Vegas. He was double entered in both the underdog and the champions class, and made a nice chunk of change there, winning the underdog class and $10,000 and placing in the champions class. What do you think of that, bull?
Yeah, he took home almost $20,000 because he placed in both events, and that's great about that underdog class. Bull can jump up there and win with the 87 points and get 10,000 or so for that. And then also in the other event, he placed in that as well. So that bull's a really nice bull. He kind of had his ups and downs, but he's peaking at a good time. But any of those other underdog bulls could come at any time and place and make money in both events.
Let's take a look again at the champions class. 2 more bulls I'd like to ask you about. One is Miss Kitty's Peacemaker, who has established himself as a legitimate contender for the 2014 $1 Million Buck and Bull Championship.
Yeah, it's a really nice bull. He, of course, like any of these young bulls, he can have a good day and a bad day. But he's just a really solid, good bull. As we've seen him progress throughout the year. Another bull that has a shot at later in the year being top 25 bull.
And the last bull I want you to look at in the champions class is the bull Avalanche. It's a full brother to Stunting Like My Daddy, owned by the Reed family.
Yeah, it was a really exciting bull to watch. I mean, you pretty much know every time he's going to jump out there and get his spin, be a really electric, fast little bull. And sometimes he's got more up and down, a little more kick than other times. So it kind of depends on what day he's going to have, but that's another bull that can easily be in the money.
And once again, just going quickly back to the underdog class, some of the bulls there, Unknown Fever. This is a bull that scored 82.5 in Las Vegas, and bull looks like he might be ready to move into the position where he might be able to make it into the $1 Million Buck and Bull Championship.
That's right, Jeff.
Also look for Toxic Reaper, Dirty Little Secret. We'll be right back in one moment. We're going to start with the underdog class and go right into the champions class. You're watching Bucking Bull action from the Janes Gang Ranch annual Buck Day and Barbecue.
Welcome to our 52,272,000 square foot nutrition center, the home of the checkerboard. 1,200 acres of working farmland where we serve 3,000 animals every day to make each one the best they can be. It's more than a nutrition center. It's a 1,200-acre foundation for integrity, innovation, performance, and quality. The proof is in the numbers. Over 20,000 studies and more than 100 patents to perfect taste, nutrition, digestion, and performance. That's over 85 years of continuous learning, and it won't stop anytime soon. More than 100 employees in the pursuit of animal excellence year-round. We stand proudly with the checkerboard. It represents the 100 million animals we feed every day, and the reason we never stop striving to deliver what they need to grow and thrive, to produce and win. The proof is in the numbers. And it begins here with us. 1,200 acres, 9 squares, 1 commitment. Look for the checkerboard. It's the only check you need.
You can own a bucking bull. No truck, no trailer, no ranch necessary. We do all the work while you have all the fun. Own an exclusive genetic $1 million bucking bull and take the journey of a lifetime competing for close to $2 million in payouts. Compete in events just open to $1 million bulls. Compete for payouts that continue to be the highest in bucking bull history. Compete at premier events like the Academy of Country Music and the National Finals Rodeo. Join exclusive genetics customers from 41 states and 5 countries for the thrill of a lifetime by owning a bucking bull. Learn more about exclusive genetics at exclusivegenetics.com.
Jeff Pressler, Jerry Hargis back at the Janes Gang Ranch in Orchard, Texas, as we get ready for underdog class action. Once again, these are bulls that have never scored above 84 points in a judged event. First place for the underdog today, a nice 5,100. Second place, 38.25. Third place, 25.50. Fourth place, 12.75. Speaking about money, Jerry Hargis, last night Biohazard won the $1 million Buck and Bull and Rider tournament for Tom and Vonnie Nunez out of California, $4,500 there. Dangerous Doug, Brad, and Jamie Bays, $2,700. Little Wheelhouse, Vivanco Hargrave, and Sherlock, $1,800.
I tell you what, Jeff, it's a nice set of bulls last night. You know, it was great to see, Biohazard jump out there, and, they bought him in Calcutta, and he won some money there and then won some money in the event, too. So, really good event last night. That bull really bucks every single time I've ever seen him go. He bucks hard and tries hard, and he's really showy for the judges.
If you're watching at home once again and you missed the action last night, just go to the archive here on Buck and Bull TV. You could see all of that bull riding action from last night. First bull out, EG 2372, that's Firewater, owned by Jason and Amy Mogg out of Harrison, Michigan, son of Wildfire here. Jungle Water, the dam.
Yeah, we've seen some of these Wildfire calves be really good, and like I say, this bull hasn't scored above an 84 points yet, but that could change at any time. It's a good way to start off this underdog clash right here. Bull turns back right there in the gate. Doesn't have a ton of kick, but for this clash right here, it's a pretty nice bull.
Yeah, and again, like you're saying, Jerry, for this class, so in the bulls that we're going to see compete in the underdog, you really got to put things in perspective. You're not going to be seeing bulls here, obviously, are going to be scoring 90 points.
Yeah, that's a good way to start off this underdog clash right here. Like I say, probably not going to happen today. Doesn't have a ton of kick, but this so great that these bulls can compete against each other.
And again, like you're saying,
on kind of on the same level playing field.
Guys, on that bull, there's a story behind old Firewater there, owned by Jason and Amy Mogg. That bull there has had a terrible time staying on his feet. So what we've had to do is really work with the flank. Dennis has just put a light flank in him. It took us probably 5 or 10 trips where that bull wouldn't fall down. And now he's getting where he's spinning, so we're slowly but surely putting a little bit more flank in that bull, and he's getting a little better every time. He's gone from having no chance to get in the top 25 to having some chance. I told Dennis today to put a little bit more flank in him. He did, and that was the best trip that bull ever had. You know, he's still not going to get up over that 84 points. He's still an underdog class bull today, but I got hopes for Jason and Amy that maybe we can get that bull up in that 84, 85 eventually where he does become a top 25 bull, because at the preliminary, you're going to have to be 85, 86 points to make the top 20 and make the top 25. What kind of score did we get today?
Thanks, Billy James. Firewater 76.20, 76.20 for the leadoff bull Firewater. Coming up next, 2384, Super Shannon. This is owned by Dick and Catherine Dial, Ron and Linda Martinelli, son of Avalanche, Willie's ex, the cow. Saw this bull, Jerry Hargis, back in Las Vegas at the Academy of Country Music during the Champions Tour finale. He finished 10th in the underdog there.
Yeah, like I say, Avalanche son here. There's been some Avalanche bulls going to be pretty good, and so we'll see how this bull progresses throughout the year out here. Like I say, 10th out there. He scored almost 77 out there. You know, really nice to score a few more points here today and get up there possibly in the money in this class.
So next bull out, Super Shannon. Dick Dial winning out in Las Vegas, double win there. Candy Cartel winning the Champions Tour finale, and great bull Shifty winning the $1 Million Bull and Rider tournament. So big payday for Dick and Catherine Dial out in Las Vegas this past April. As we get ready for our second bull of the day, Super Shannon. I got to take your temperature, Jerry Hargis. I offered you a piece of Miss Wanda's coconut cream pie and you passed. Might have to make a trip to the CVS later on and get you some medication.
Here we go, Jeff. Another bull right there in the gate. Bull's got a little more kick. He's not quite as fast as last bull, but he's got just a tad more kick, so he's probably going to be a score pretty similar to the last bull there. Kind of what we've seen from the past from this bull, but like I say, for an underdog class bull, just right there in the gate, nice little spinning bull.
Interesting in the sense that what I sense from that bull, Jerry Hargis, is he's got some of the tools, but he just doesn't. I don't think he has the athletic ability to execute them the way he would probably want to.
Yeah, he just doesn't have quite the intensity. You know, he's got some tools, and he's doing some things right as you watch the replay here, but just doesn't have that speed and intensity. And, you know, possibly that might be something that comes on with age and as next year they put a rider on him. But right now that bull's just not as intense as he needs to be.
You know, guys, one thing about that bull right there, and it happens a lot to the Avalanche sons, they got them Playboy genetics, Bodacious genetics. They just get big really fast, and that dummy just weighs 24 pounds, and it just becomes like a fly on their back. That's a bull. I'm not sure we can get him up to that 85-point range for the preliminary to make the top 25, but he's a bull where you come back as a rider bull with some weight and some spurs and stuff like that. He might be perfect for the $1 Million Bucking Bull and Rider tournament, but he just doesn't have the intensity. I think the judges are, like y'all said, are going to dock him. I think he'll beat that first bull, my guess. But he's going to be right around that 80 mark. He's going to have a hard time. I think some of these bulls are going to step up today and be 82 to 85, you know, and get them top money holes.
So Super Shannon scoring a 78 for the Dials and Martinelli families. 21-25, T-Fred Smackdown up next, owned by Rick and Tracy Friedrich, son of Pinball Wizard here out of Red Rocket.
Yeah, he's Pinball Wizard, Kev. Has seen something be really good. And in my opinion, I think they've got one of the best names here. I mean, T-Fred Smackdown, that's a pretty cool bull name right there. But, you know, $12,750 on the line just for these bulls here. There's only 17 bulls in it, so you only got to beat 16 other bulls for that kind of payout. That's pretty good, Jeff.
I'd say so. So T-Fred Smackdown coming up next.
You know, guys, for those watching here and over the internet, most of these bulls are competing for their last time to win money as a 2-year-old. You're going to see a different class between these and the Champions Class bulls. And what the underdog has done is gave these people that just have these decent bulls that aren't great a chance to win money. And to win $5,000 with an 83 or 84 point bull, Jerry, wouldn't you say that's pretty phenomenal?
Yeah, that's pretty good. You know, there's so many bulls out there, so many people raising bulls. There needs to be different classifications so they can go and compete, and something like this underdog class is just fantastic.
Dennis Davis just finishing his work up behind the chutes. Get ready to see the first pinball wizard of the day.
That bull's got some action. He's got a lot of kick, but he just didn't spin fast enough. You know, he kind of took him several jumps out there and made him a little tight little circle there. You know, nice kind of bull, but if he just learned to get that spin in him, that's a bull that's got potential down the road, though.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the best I've seen T. Fred's SmackDown perform. Seen him going through his training paces quite a few times. So we'll wait on a score for T. Fred SmackDown. You're talking about the amount of money being offered here today, Jerry Hargis, in the underdog and champions class. Folks have the opportunity to double enter. We mentioned in the lead to the show who's Seasick, who won the underdog class in Las Vegas, also double entered in the champions class. So one of the first bulls here to double enter is a bull named Unknown Fever. He is getting his score here in the underdog class, but also, Billy James, let me just ask you this while we're doing this. Unknown Fever is going to buck here and count towards the champions class, or vice versa?
You know, his score right now, what he does right now counts in both classes. When they double enter, we put him at a disadvantage and make him go in the first class, not the second. But I'm going to tell you, this is the first bull going that I really think has a legitimate chance out of the four that we had going to step up and make a top 10 type bull. I don't know that he'll ever be a top 3 or 4 or 5 bull, but I do think he could be a top 10. We've been bucking him over here on the right-hand delivery, and he got out there and was getting a little flat. So just a couple weeks ago, we moved him to the left, and he was really good. He went about 2 jumps, went to the left, and had more kick than he's had in a long time. And that's been the only thing that's held this bull back. He's always been gassy. He's always spun. He just hadn't always kicked. I'm looking for a top score. I'm looking for this bull to officially become a non-underdog bull after today. I think he'll beat that 84.
Certainly one of the bulls that does have the potential, and that he scored an 82.4 in the Champions Tour finale in Las Vegas in the underdog division. This bull owned by 2 J's Bucking Bulls, Leap of Faith, Amy West, B&D Services, Son of Fever's Rise, and Kid Tiger. And just want to give you the score from T. Fred's SmackDown.
71-26.
71-26. So early on in the competition, Super Shannon holding the lead with 78 points, but a bull that, as Billy James mentioned, knocking on the door to be the type of bull that can get into the top 25 through the preliminaries this fall is Unknown Fever.
Yeah, and he won $4,000 at the last underdog class. So, I mean, these bulls, even though they're 84 and lower bulls, they can still win a ton of money.
Unknown Fever, the first of many Fever Rising sons that we will see in action here this morning. Dennis Davis trying to steady that bull in a chute. Gates open. Unknown Fever. Now, it's just what Billy James was talking about, Jerry Hargis, and what we talked about in the opening of the show. There would certainly be some bulls in this underdog class that would rise to the top and show us that they would be eligible to do well in the $1 Million Bucking Bull Championship.
Yeah, that's by far the best bull we've seen out so far. You know, he turns back right there. His only flaw is he turns back so close, he hits his hip right there on that 90-degree turn right there. But, you know, had a lot of kick coming out there, gets right in the spin, keeps a little bit of kick in the hind end. You're really solid bull right there. He's got the looks to go with it too, Jeff.
So Unknown Fever expect a good score to come in on this bull and put him in the lead so far in the underdog class. Coming up next is going to be Little Bocephus, another bull owned by Jason and Amy Mogg. You saw their bull Firewater lead things off. Another son of Fevers Rising out of Miss Juicy. This bull finished sixth in the underdog at the Academy of Country Music, 81-point score there.
Got a good score coming in here, Jeff, 85.2.
85.2. So,
I often say it's not how you do at the beginning of the year, it's how you peak at the end of the year. And that bull right there is getting a little bit better. And every year, I mean, you go back to the very first year, OMG never won a penny till he got to the $1 Million Bucking Bull Championship and then won a $500,000. If Unknown Fever can just keep that up, learn how to clear the gate, and be solid the entire time, he can get up in that 86-point range and be a top 20 bull at the preliminary. And, guys, that was a bull bought at the All-In Players Championship. The people that won the $500,000 last year, two J Bucking Bulls, Leap of Faith, Donna Connors, and Chris Allen, they all teamed up again, got in the All-In and bought that bull right there, and looks like they might get to play again this year at the top 20.
last year, Jerry Hargis, at this event, the underdog was won by Bob Wisnat's bull, whose jacket that we saw compete last night in the Bull and Rider tournament. That bull went on, did not make the finals of the $1 Million Bucking Bull Championship, but performed well. I think he finished 7th or 8th in the Second Chance Championship.
Yeah, that was a good, solid bull last year. I really liked that bull all year when I saw him. So that goes to show, just because a bull starts out slow in his career doesn't mean he can't advance and go on to be a nice bull.
Now, Jerry Hargis, that last bull we saw, Unknown Fever, as you mentioned, he made a little contact with that 90. The 90 is where we're looking at the side of the chute gates where the Jane's Gang sign is. What happens in terms of judging when a judge sees a bull make a little contact like that?
We know that shouldn't dock him too much because he's kind of hit it just a little bit and went on. The only thing it does is throw the bull's timing off just a tad. And sometimes the judges will have to knock him just because it throws the bull's timing off. It takes him a half a second or so to get back into that spin. But he did a great job of hitting it and just not keep knocking out the same tracks right there.
6 judges on hand here to do the scoring this morning of the underdog and champions class. So we wait on Little Bocephus. Jerry Hargis, June 28th, Buck and Bull TV will be live from the Texas Bash Derby in Glen Rose, Texas, one of the big events each year for the NBBA. Covered the Texas Breeders' Classic a little while ago. Look forward to getting back to Glen Rose. He did his thing.
There we go, Jeff. Another nice little bull. Takes one jump out around to the right. Doesn't have a ton of kick, but he's coming up in the back end a little bit. He has just a tad bit of speed. Good solid bull. In my opinion, not quite as good as the last bull, but still a good bull nonetheless.
That's the beauty of this underdog. I mean, bulls like this a year or two ago, you just had nothing you could do with them, and the customer became so disappointed because they bought a bull and he was decent, but they knew they couldn't win. That bull is probably, my guess, is going to be in second place right now on the bulls that we've had go so far. I don't think he's going to beat Unknown Fever, but I think he'll get, somewhere around that 80 score, and I don't think we have any other 80s. So I think that bull's going to move into second. We still got quite a few to go. Guys, I thought I'd tell the people out there that's watching and the people here, you might see I have a little remote control right here in my hand, and I got another one around my neck. As the industry grows, things just always, the demand to get better is put upon us. And one of the things you'll see a lot less happen now is dummies hanging up on the bulls. And the reason you will is because we have 2 latches. Bucking Bull Pro, who's come up with a 2-latch system here, a great dummy. I'll probably never reach to this neck right here, but I have a second latch around my neck. If this one doesn't work, I reach right down here, push this one. I have a second latch on the other side to make sure the dummy comes off. So far today, I haven't had to go to the second one, but it's just how our industry continues to evolve, continues to get better, and people out there provide better services for us.
81.40, 81.40 for Little Bocephus, and indeed that puts that bull in second place behind Unknown Fever, paying out 3 money. So currently sitting on the bubble for a check there is Super Shannon in third place with 78 points. Coming up next, 21.95, Who Knows Who? This bull owned by Inspired by Bulls. Peter and Kim Levesque out of Calgary, out of Alberta, Canada. Houdini Kid Tiger.
Yeah, we know what we can see with these Houdini calves. Every year they're in the money at events all over the country. So this bull, has the genetics to be a good bull. We're going to see him come out here to touch again on that dual latch system there from Lance Bloyd, Bucking Bull Pros. Done a great job, helping us out. And, one of those guys that he's really innovative and always coming up with new ideas and new parts and new things in that dummy to make sure that he's got the best product out there possible.
So who knows who coming up next?
Yeah, and I locked down Lance the other day. He can't make gold and black, yellow and black flanks. He can only make for exclusive genetics now. So anytime you see a yellow and black flank out there, it's going to be owned by exclusive genetics.
Yeah, Lance Bloyd. You talk about the definitive entrepreneur. Lance Bloyd, a firefighter. And let's take a look here at who knows who.
The bull's got the jump and kick coming out there across there, and then he kind of has a little bit of hesitation. Sometimes you'll see that with young bulls with that dummy. It's kind of like they're, kind of wanting to give up on that dummy. It doesn't mean necessarily they're going to give up as a bucking bull in general, but sometimes that dummy just quits having the effect on them as these bulls get bigger and stronger and grow. That box sometimes has less and less effect on him, and that may be the case right here.
I was telling Michelle Simpson and Teresa Workman, who live up in Kansas, about when we were coming back from Pennsylvania, when we covered the SEBRA event in Pennsylvania, and we got stuck in that tornado watch, which was a pretty harrowing experience. We actually were locked into a gas station for like an hour, and you were crying because you've never been locked around that much fast food for that amount of time. I mean, you were just...
Food overload.
Yeah, food overload for sure. 69-40 the score. Coming up next, another bull that can break that 84-point mark and show that he can earn a way into the $1 Million Buck and Bull Championship, and that's Dirty Little Secret. Major Pain, Mama Trash, owned by Henry Mladenka from up here in Patterson, Texas. $2,500 fifth place finish in the underdog at the Academy of Country Music.
Once again, seeing another bull here that's placed and won some money at a past event, and still hasn't made an 84-point score, but still is winning several $1,000s. And if you had a bull that you knew was just an 80 to 84-point bull, and you're still able to go out there and win several $1,000s a couple times a year, that's pretty nice as an owner.
Jerry, like you said earlier, I see us evolving as we grow and get bigger to having even a third class. We could have classes for bulls, once we have enough good bulls, classes for bulls that have been 86 and higher, classes for bulls that's been between 84 and 86, and then 84 and under. I mean, just let more people win that way. You just got to have the numbers. You just got to have the entries to do it.
And again, as we were discussing with this, let's just watch Dirty Little Secret. Yeah, nice trip for that little bull of Henry Mladenka.
That's a really good trip. That's a big, stout, good-looking bull right there. I like the way he's built. That's a really nice trip. It comes right out there, gets right into a spin. He comes up in his back end quite a bit. Doesn't have a ton of extension in his kick, but, has a little bit of speed right there. He may not be first, but, that's probably a second-place bull right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And, again, that bull finishing in fifth place in Las Vegas in this performance, a little better than the one, a lot better than the one in Las Vegas. So a lot of improvement being shown here by Dirty Little Secret.
That's another bull that early on we had a lot of trouble with falling down and staying on his feet. And these bulls just learn as they go. And when they learn how to stay on their feet and handle themselves, they can usually give it a little bit more. That bull's going to come real close to getting up there to breaking the underdog mark. I agree with Jerry. I'm not sure he'll beat Unknown Fever, but he's going to be right there close to him. I think we got a second-place bull or a bull that could push it right there close. What did we get?
Yeah, for sure. He moves into second place, Billy, with 83.80. Unknown Fever still in the lead, 85.2. Now moving into third place, Little Bucephus. So those are your first, second, third-place bulls. Coming up next, EG 2202. That's Hard-Headed, owned by Forche West Neeson. Fever's Rising, Jungle Kitty. This bull finished 21st in the underdog in Las Vegas. So Hard-Headed coming up next. And once again, as we were saying, Jerry, with the creation of the underdog class, and as Billy James had mentioned, by first of all, you're giving these bulls the opportunity to continue to compete and show that perhaps they could go on to the $1 Million Buck and Bull Championship, whereas before the underdog class, these bulls were pretty much cooked early on. They just didn't show that they could be a $1 million bull early on, and that's basically it.
Yeah, and there's no chance of recouping their money. Now they can recoup their money, and even though these bulls may not be a top 25 contender down the road, at least with them a chance to win several thousand throughout the year, they're recouping some of that original investment.
Hard-Headed.
Bull's got a ton of action, a ton of kick right there. He just doesn't get into a spin. It's one of the categories the judge is looking for, that spin. So without that, he's sure not going to score good. But as you see right here, he's got a lot of tools of a good bucking bull. He's got that extension in his kick. He's got a lot of action across there. So maybe as this bull's career goes, he could get better and better.
As a trainer, that's one of them bulls that just frustrates you big time because, like Jerry said, that's probably, of all the bulls we buck, that bull probably has the most tools of any bull that's bucked. And the good news for the customers, we still got 4 months to the preliminary, and hopefully we can get that bull to turn him back and spin him. But we've been bucking that bull a lot to try to get him because we've seen the tools where some of these bulls, they got their pattern, but they don't have the kick and intensity of that bull, so we don't want to buck them too much. We don't want them slowing down. Bull like that, we're bucking him at least every couple of weeks without over-bucking him, trying to get him to form a pattern because that is a bull that could move up, be a top 5 bull. Anytime you see that action, that intensity, that kick, they just got to learn to put it together, and hopefully old Hard-Headed will quit being hard-headed and do that.
75 points the score for Hard-Headed, 75 points. Next bull up is Big Legit. This bull actually owned by Exclusive Genetics. Big Tex, the sire, legitimately juicy, that really nice cow, the dam. This bull finished on the bottom end of the ledger at the Academy of Country Music. We've had a couple of experience events also this season. This was really a class below the underdog in that bulls were not really judged. They were given a score, but no money on the line. And so Big Legit, it's got to show something here today, Billy James.
Yeah, let me tell you, everybody might be saying, what in the world is Exclusive Genetics doing owning a bull in the $1 Million Buck and Bull Championship? Well, I promise you, we will not own this bull if he goes to the preliminary. Here's the deal. I think this bull can win $500,000, but he has not put it together. So I haven't been willing to sell him real cheap, and I haven't been willing to give up on him. And I've been telling people at every Champions Tour, when this bull puts it together, he's going to be on the auction block for somebody to buy because I think he's a top 5 bull. He's out of legitimately juicy, which we all know has created tons of great bulls, a great stunt like my daddy that won Pueblo last week and has already made the PBR finals for his 2nd year in a row in the Classic. And several other bulls. The Miss Kitty's Peacemaker you're going to see in a little while is a full brother to this bull. This bull blows and kicks harder than he looks like a bareback horse. He just hasn't put the spin together yet. And when he does, you're talking about a bull that I think can be 90 points. So if you've been sitting back or your bull didn't work out this year, you might want to watch this one because I'm firmly convinced before it's all said and done, this bull will be in Las Vegas in December. Let's buck him, guys.
So getting ready to go with Big Legit.
As you and Billy both mentioned, this cow, legitimately juicy. And, you can't say enough about the female side of this buck and bull scenario. The cows are your basis of what you raise these great bulls out of. Whether you have a good sire or not, the good cows pop out every single year on their calf crop.
So, Billy, for those, Jerry, for those folks here that are relatively new to the business, can you just take us through what's going on in the chute now as we got a pretty good close-up of Dennis Davis behind the chute?
Yeah, he's getting close, ready to go. They're putting that mechanical box on there from Buck and Bull Pro. They're strapping it down. They're getting it a little snug. You don't want to pull it too tight, hurt the bull in any way. But then Dennis is going to put that flank on the back, and all that flank does is just give him a little something to kick at. It's not in any kind of position that's going to hurt that bull at all. So, and everything on the dummy and the flank and everything, it's soft cotton on everything. The girt goes underneath it both. I always fixed to see something right there. He tried to turn back right to the gate, and I don't know if he kind of saw that sign there, kind of hit himself, got jammed up right there. Didn't give himself enough room, but like Billy said, that bull's got a lot of potential right there. Just can't quite put it all together quite yet.
So that was Big Legit as we wait on the score for him. Coming up next as we go back over to the left side is going to be Thumper Bumper. This is a bull also double entered in both the underdog class as well as the champions class. Johnston, Ramir, Kuchakowski, and Hale, son of Pitbull Wizard, Kid Tiger, finished 14th at the underdog at the Academy of Country Music. This bull originally started the season off in that champions class, then moved down to the underdog.
Yeah, he hadn't quite lived up to his potential yet, but, like I say, there's still a lot of time left between now and December, so these bulls there's a lot could go on the next 4, 5, 6 months.
Billy?
That Thumper Bumper, I'm going to call it like I did an Unknown Fever a minute ago. He's fixing to leave the underdog class today. We took him to the Texas Breeders' Classic a couple weeks ago, and this bull finally, what he's been doing is going out too far, and I've been telling the owners it's just a matter of time before he tightens it up. At the Texas Breeders' Classic, he would turn back right here, was getting it on and drifting back to the chute and hit his head on the chute and just stopped him. And then he just kept going after that. And he was still like 84 points there at that thing, 83.5, 84. If he wouldn't have hung up, he was going to be 86 or 87, maybe even up higher. This is a bull I think can play this year, and I think he's going to play. He's just hadn't worked out for him early in the year, so he's still in the underdog class. But I'm looking for big things out of this bull starting today right now with Thumper Bumper. Let's buck him.
Once again, three monies, top three currently. Unknown Fever, as Billy James just alluded to, on top, 85.2. Dirty Little Secret, 83.80 in second. Little Bo Cephas, 81.40. He's sitting in third. Thumper Bumper up next. Jerry, why don't you just take us through as we watch this bull acting up in the chute, the whole process that a yearling bull goes through before they're ready to buck in terms of acclimating themselves to a chute.
Yeah, this when the bull first starts, it's all such a new situation. They're used to growing up in the pasture, they're not used to being confined in this box right here. So before you ever buck them, they're going to make a round through that chute many a times. They're going to come up from the back, get in the chute, and at first probably just going to have that gate open, just let them come straight out in the arena, let it get the feel of the situation, know where that out gate is. You want to put in a lot of groundwork before you ever buck them for the very first time, as it would look like Dennis is getting really close to calling for the gate.
So a bull at Billy James is high on. Thumper Bumper coming up next. Once again, double entered both here in the underdog and the champions class.
Well, just a bad day right there for Thumper Bumper. Takes a spill right there. He comes out and like we were saying, he's got a lot of potential. He's got a lot of kick right there, but just doesn't get into that spin like he did at the last event. He kicks higher and harder than any bull has so far. He almost gets completely vertical. Then he kind of didn't catch his feet coming around there and unfortunately falls down.
Man, you freeze frame it right there. He looked like a 90-point bull. Gee. So waiting on Thumper Bumper's score.
You hear the story, 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. I mean, that happened today with Thumper Bumper. I thought we were over all that. And I think we might have, I told Dennis, it's so good working with Dennis as a flank man because he handles constructive criticism a little bit. I thought he had just a hair too much flank in that bull. And when he kicked right over here, you could see it in him a little hard, and he fought it. But it all went bad when the bull come in the chute today. Anytime you start seeing the bulls jump up and acting up, and that's a key to us, and like Jerry said earlier, is you got to put a lot of time in the chute with them. We thought we had him pass out. I promise you that bull is going to come back to living back here, going in the chute, back to school again, because he showed us today he can still throw a fit a little bit and go backwards. Again, I can't say it enough, and I wouldn't say it if I didn't mean it. That bull, we still have time, and every year there's a bull that nobody's even seen win money that wins big at the end of the year, and I think Thumper Bumper is going to be one of those.
Jerry, Billy's talking to us about too much flank. Can you explain that to Bucking Bull TV audience and those in attendance here?
Well, every bull has his recipe for exactly how tight that flank needs to be. And for a guy like Dennis Davis, he's got a ton of these bulls to go over, and he's a really smart guy about knowing which bulls need which amount of flank. And it's really difficult, too. Sometimes when those bulls are fighting in the chute, you don't get a perfect scenario of how you want to pull that flank in there. Sometimes they're wadded up, and when they're wadded up, it's really hard to get a good feel for that flank. But as you go through the year, you kind of learn these bulls, and like I say, each one has their own different flank. If you put too much, it's a bad deal, and sometimes not enough's a bad deal. So you got to find that just perfect spot for these bulls. And like I say, Dennis does a great job most of the time on these bulls right here.
First major pain we're going to be looking at is 2024. That's Tippy Toes, owned by Brad and Jamie Bays out of Fairplay, Colorado. Major pain Wolf Treat finished ninth in the Underdog at Champions Tour 1. Mid-packer over at the Underdog during the Champions Tour finale in Las Vegas.
As we've seen in the past, a lot of these major pain calves aren't working out to be great futurity calves, but here's one that's still in the mix. He's still bucking, and another one that can provide a good score at any time.
So Tippy Toes coming up next, 85.2. And why are we getting, normally we have these scores in the quarter points. Why are we getting Jerry Hargis here today like an 81.40?
Well, a little differently here, so watch this bull. There we go.
Solid
That's a nice
effort.
bull right
Solid
there,
effort.
Gets right out there and spin, one jump and around the left, and has a little bit of speed and has a little bit of kick, and really nice solid bull right there.
Billy James, you talk about bulls peaking at the right time. This is obviously the best we've seen from Tippy Toe, so he's making a move in the right direction here to perhaps get primed and ready for the $1 Million Bucking Bull Championship.
That bull was sold here at Buck Day last year. We're going to do something a little different today like we did last year. I told you earlier we got 20 2015 bulls right back here that's never been bucked. We're going to buck them and sell them. Last year, that was Hayden Shaw's pick. We had a little competition between some of the breeders, Mitch and Jerry and Hayden, and Brad Bays paid $14,000 because he got to see the bull buck. That bull's gone up and down throughout the year. I think he had a really good day today. I think he's going to move in there in the leaderboard. I'm not real sure where, first, second, or third, but I think he's going to be in there pretty good. And I know Brad's got to be excited moving, getting close to the preliminary. We just need that bull to become consistent, become solid. When we've taken him on the road, he's misfired on us. So what kind of score today? And, before you get the score there, Jeff, you was asking, why are they coming out in 0.2, 0.4, 0.8? We've come up with, I think, the best system out there. The ABBI recently changed where they take all 6 judges and divide them by 6, average them, and then multiply them out times 4. We do something a little bit different. We throw out the low score, add the other 5, and get the average of those, and then multiply times 4. What it does is usually when a judge misses, he misses low. He doesn't miss high, or he doesn't miss high very big. And so what we tell the owner by doing this is, hey, we're not going to let any one judge hurt you. If there's 2 of them there that think your bull's low, I'm sorry, there were 2 that thought that. But any one judge that doesn't like your score and he's way off, he's going to get thrown out, and we're going to take the other 5 people. So that's why you're coming out with that 0.2, 0.4, 0.6, and we think it works. I'm a big proponent of it, and I think the industry needs to look at doing it a little bit more.
So Tippy Toes breaks into the top 3, 82 points. So he's currently sitting in third money hole there, and bumps Little Bocephus out of a money hole. Coming up next, Toxic Reaper, owned by Norman Bucking Bulls out of Alabama. The only chicken on a chain we're seeing today, Western Diggity Girl, the dam. 13th in the Underdog finale, but I like this bull, Jerry, when we saw him at Champions Tour 2 in Locust Grove. He finished 3rd. I have a lot of faith in this bull that he's the type of bull that also could come on late in the season here and earn a hole in $1 Million Bucking Bull Championship.
Yeah, you're definitely right, Jeff. As you mentioned, he got 3rd at an event in the past, so this bull's got the potential. He can be up and down, and that's kind of the story on a lot of these underdog class bulls. They're not just consistently good every single time, but they do show points where they can peak, like that 3rd place, and he got him some money earlier in the year already.
Toxic Reaper coming up next. And Jerry, you know, you were talking about we haven't seen a lot out of the Major Payne. Certainly a big disappointment as the sire has been chicken on a chain.
Well, just about everything went wrong that could. He hit himself twice coming in and in and out. He really throws the bull's game off when he hits his hip coming out. And but, you know, he spun right there and got right back into it, and then he got a little too close again, as you see in the replay, and kind of hit himself a little bit there. But, you know, you can tell that bull wants to buck, but, you know, when things like that happen, it just kind of throws his whole game off.
As you watch the replay of Toxic Reaper.
You know, Jerry, earlier you were talking about genetics on these bulls, and you know, every year we learn, you know, the cow is, I think anybody in the business, including the owners now, are realizing the cow is the most important thing, but you got to cross it with a bull that works too, and every year when we try a new bull, we learn which bulls work and which ones don't. Just like a couple years ago we started using Little Yellow Jacket, I wouldn't hesitate to use Little Yellow Jacket. You got to cross him right, but we've seen some great bulls come out of Little Yellow Jacket. You couldn't pay me enough money to use chicken on a chain anymore. There's only a couple bulls left that even have a chance to make the top 25, and that was one of them. They just didn't buck. Chicken on a chain was a freak. His genetics don't pass down. He's one of my favorite bulls of all times, bucking. He was a 2,200-pound bull that could buck like a 1,400-pound bull. But he just doesn't pass the genes down, and his calves just don't buck. So we learn as we go. We're getting better as we go. We're making better crosses, and now we're letting other breeders come in and bring their bulls in, and you're just going to see the bulls get better and better in our programs too.
72.60, 72.60 for Toxic Reaper. Coming up next, 2142 Snake Bit, owned by Bob Wisnat of nearby Columbus, Texas. Mossy Oak Mudslinger, Willie's X. Bull finished 9th in the underdog at the Academy of Country Music this past April.
This first Mudslinger calf we're going to see, and this calf and the one right behind him are both full brothers, so it'll be exciting to see which one of these does better. But, you know, Mudslinger's been a good sire so far, and one of this snake bit bull right here can be up and down, but he can be up there in that top as well.
Once again, score to beat Unknown Fevers, 85.2 points as we get ready for Snake Bit. And we'll see who wins this battle of full brothers with El Bandito coming up next. Full brother, as Jerry Hargis mentioning, to Snake Bit. Speaking of different breeding opportunities and exclusive genetics, it's always great for me to go over and look at the bred-based sons of brothers of Cardinal. Full brothers are in the pasture right back here behind the swimming pool at the guest house. Little Cardinal was really, in essence, brought up at the pasture next to my house, and always one of my favorite bulls, and to see his brother's been exciting. Now, one of the better efforts we've also seen out of Bob Wisnat's Snake Bet.
Here we go. Nice little bull right there, Jeff. That should probably put him in a money spot right there, one of the top 4 holes. Just gets right out there, gets right to a spin, never weakens, doesn't fade, just kind of gets it on right there. Has a little bit of coming up in the hind end, you know, just a good solid bull right there.
So waiting on the score for Snake Bet, and as Jerry Hargis mentioned, certainly the type of bull that could crack those top 4 holes.
You know, that bull right there has been a bull that's he's always turned back right in the gate. He's lacked a little bit of intensity. And Bob said, hey, let's just give that bull a break, and let's wait for the underdog contest. And I think giving him a break is going to make him step it up a little bit. And he was absolutely right. That was probably the best day that bull's ever had. I think his high score before today has been right around 79 or 80. And I think you're going to definitely see him bust that. And I have to tend to agree with you, Jerry. I think he's going to move up there in that probably 3rd place, 4th. I think he's pretty close to that Tippy Toes bull is my guess. He's going to be right in that range. But let's see what the judges said.
Once again, as we wait on the score here, I made a mistake. I was saying 3 holes. We're paying a 4. So it's Unknown Fever 85.2, Dirty Little Secret 83.80, Tippy Toes 82, Little Bacefus 81.40. 82.80, 82.80, so that moves him into 3rd place. So nice performance for Snake Bet. Coming up next will be El Bandito. El Bandito, the full brother to Snakebit, owned by Leap of Faith Buck and Bull, Stanley and Joanne Izzard, Mossy Oak Mudslinger, Willie Zacks, fifth at Underdog 2 when we were in Locust Grove, Oklahoma.
You know, another bull I think you're going to see his highest score. This bull's just been getting a little bit better all the time. There's an interesting story about this bull right here. It used to have 4 partners, and now he's only got 2. There was 2 partners named Jimmy Janes and Bob Wisnat that were partnered up with the Izzards and the Leap of Faith girls. And this bull wasn't doing very good, and they said, look, we don't want to spend any more money. We don't want to pay any more care on that bull. You can just have our part. So they took it, and this bull's just got a little bit better all the time. And I think I'll be honest, I didn't blame Bob and my dad for giving up on him, but the girls are lucky, and the Izzards have got their fingers crossed, and he just seems to get better. The last time we bucked him right here, and he spun right in the gate. Let's see what he does today.
Well, the battle of the brothers definitely went to Snakebit there. You know, it just didn't get any spin out of that bull right there. It's funny that they're full brothers. That bull's got horns, the other one didn't. You know, there's a lot of difference in those 2 bulls. But, you know, we've seen that bull be better in the past, but just didn't find a spin today.
So that was El Bandito. Once again, 4 monies, 5,100, 38.25, 25.50, 12.75. California Cartel is going to be loaded in the chute next, owned by Gary and Laurie Forche out of Alberta, Canada, and Brad and Bo Mills out of California. First Carrillo Cartel we're going to be seeing today, Sweet as Candy, the cow.
That last bull's that 2 steps forward, 3 steps back situation right there. It looks like Bob and Jimmy were the smart ones today, but the church ain't over yet. We still got a little time to work with that bull. Maybe we can get him to improve a little bit.
69.60, 69.60 to score for El Bandito. 3 bulls remaining. California Cartel, the first of those 3. Overall, though, Jerry, as we come down to the last 3 bulls, has not been a bad underdog class competition here today. Seen some nice bulls that have shown a lot of improvement.
As mentioned, son of Carrillo Cartel, we saw him for many, many years at the PBRs and retired last year at the finals. But even though he's 9 or 10 years old, still had a ton of hearts, a ton of buck, really good bull, and hopefully he'll pass on those genetics to these young calves.
Candy Cartel, of course, probably the bull that you would have to say is the favorite. Take a look at California Cartel.
Bull showed a few hints that he wanted to kick, but he had several rounds there where he was flat. So, you know, I don't think he's going to get a score quite high enough to get up in there that mid-80s. But, you know, he turns back right there in the gate, kind of sticks with it himself. So he does show signs of good tools that he has in his pocket.
As I was mentioning, Candy Cartel, there's a number of bulls that have to be considered that come out of the Janes Gang program that have to be considered favorites for the $1 Million Buck and Bull Championship that we will not see in competition here in the Champions class today. And one, of course, is Candy Cartel, another great son of Carrillo Cartel. Coming up next, the bull Big Twist, owned by David and Lori Hale. Big Tex, Twisted Lady. This bull finished 11th at the Underdog at the Academy of Country Music. 78.60, 78.60, the score for California Cartel. Two bulls remain to conclude the underdog portion of this morning's festivities.
Big Twist right here is a bull that I've seen be really good in the past. You know, he's kind of one of those that we talk about. He's kind of had his ups and downs, but he's got some potential, and the bull can really buck when he wants to. But he just got to figure it all out and put it together. But like we've said several times, still got a lot of time between now and the preliminaries. So this bull could easily get up there.
As I was mentioning, Brad Bays has those brothers to Cardinal out in the pasture. It's the back pasture, really, the one out to the left. He's not selling any of those calves. He has a lot of faith in one of these brothers, the Cardinal, winning the $1 Million Buck and Bull Championship. A lot of potential there, Jerry Hargis.
Yeah, definitely. That bull's got a lot of kick, you know, and he really extends when he kicks, and what I like in that bull, but just hadn't quite found a spin yet, you know. Hopefully more time we'll eventually do that, but right now I just hadn't quite put it all together.
As we were mentioning, a lot of entrepreneurial folks here, one being Brad Bays, raising those brothers to Cardinal. Also, Skippy Johnston has a number of brothers of Vortex Madness that he wants to form some partnerships on. Go see Skippy. He'll take you over to the little trap out by the barn in the back and show you those brothers to the great Vortex Madness. Billy Jane's also going to be selling some last calls dipping sows. You could see those calves out in the pastures to the back. Speak to Billy. Dipping sow, of course, the mom at a backdraft, one more dip, just in many ways an underrated cow. So talk to Billy about those last call and dipping sows. 72-20 for Big Twist. Chachaco, the final bull up in the underdog portion of the show here, Skip and Linda Johnston. Houdini, Squarehead, 7th at the Academy of Country Music underdog.
Yeah, our second Houdini calf we've seen of the day. The first one we saw didn't do quite as good, so hoping for more out of this calf right here, Chachaco. You know, like I say, he's the 7th out there, so hopefully he can step his game up a little bit, be in that top 4.
Yeah, this is another bull. There's a handful of them out today that I still think are top 20, 25 bulls. This bull's out of the great cow, Squarehead, who raised Bad Mama Jamma, crossed with Houdini right here. This bull's got a ton of action. He just hasn't really learned how to buck yet. You'll see what I'm talking about when he bucks. His feet, he'll kick at the flank. He's real fast. He's kind of short to the ground. But this bull, when he learns and just quits fighting everything, this is a bull that can get up in there the mid-80s or better. And so far, he hadn't broke the 84 point barrier, but he's definitely capable of it. And hopefully for Skippy and Linda, he'll be there, get there today.
So once again, Jerry Hargis, we were talking about who's seasick, that double entered both the underdog in the champions class in Las Vegas and picked up 2 nice checks. Unknown Fever here, who's in the lead in the underdog class and has the opportunity to win $5,100. Also has a real respectable score and could get one of the good chunk of money in the champions class. So it could be a big day for the syndicate that owns Unknown Fever.
We got some excited fans right here. I'll tell you what, that boy, I really thought he was going to get it on right there. He comes out of the gate, he looks left. I really thought he was going to get in a spin, and then like Billy mentioned, he just really hadn't learned exactly how to buck. You know, he's got the potential and he's got the tools to do it, but he just can't go at it all mentally, can't go out and put it all together yet.
You know what's interesting? Leave that replay up on the board, Joel, as I'm talking. Watch this bull's back feet. The whole time he's bucking, he's like he's kicking at the flank. Sometimes he'll stick his head in the ground and root at it. I mean, he just fights everything. But you can tell it's like, dude, man, just relax and buck. You can be good. And I heard Skippy and Linda from the stands at the end. I don't know if the video goes that far. But watch right here. He really goes to getting it on there towards the end. And I think this bull's going to put it together. I told them after this week I'm going to move him over here to a right-hand delivery because he likes to spin to the right. And we're going to see if that loosens him up a little bit. But he just needs experience. He's going to be fine.
75-80, 75.80 the score for Chachaco. So Unknown Fever unofficially wins the underdog class with that 85.2, followed by Dirty Little Secret, Snakebit, and Tippy Toes. So those your top four that collected checks in the underdog class. And Billy James, I would assume we're going to move right into the champions class here, where we're going to see some tried and true bulls that certainly some of them have to be counted in as major contenders to win the 2014 $1 million Buck and Bull Championship.
Yeah, what we're going to do, Jeff, is we're going to just take about a 3 to 5 minute break is it. I mean, y'all can kind of recap the top bulls, or maybe Joel can put them up on the screen and y'all can go over them, you and Jerry. Donald's hard at it back here. He's already got the first 3 bulls in the lane, and it won't take him long. He'll be ready, and we'll move right into the champions class.
All right, let's see if we could, if Joel Walters can key up, first of all, Unknown Fever. As Joel is, Unknown Fever was the 4th bull in. 2J's Buck and Bull, Leap of Faith, Amy West, Wiznat, and B&D Services. And let Jerry take you through the trip that took Unknown Fever to the top of the leaderboard and that $5,100.
There, this bull's turned back just right in the gate, hits his hip just a little bit, but it doesn't let him phase him. You know, he's coming up in the back end. He doesn't have just a ton of extension except for that one kick, you know, and then, you know if that kind of threw him off when he hits himself right there, but stays right in the spins. He's got some speed and intensity, you know. He's got just several things that the judges like.
So that was Unknown Fever. Joel, if we could go down to the bull that started 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th. That's Dirty Little Fever, owned by Henry Mladenka from Patterson, Texas. He finished 2nd. We'll see if we can key. There we go. We'll key that up for you.
Dirty Little Secret, a major pain calf right here. You can tell he's a major pain calf. He's got a lot of the same characteristics of that bull. But here's another one. Just as soon as the gate opens, he just gets right into it, stays solid, doesn't weaken at the end at all. He's got a little bit of kick in the back end. Really, really good, solid bull right here.
And Joel, 5 from the bottom was Snakebit, the Bob Wiznat bull that finished 3rd. We'll see if we can key him up and get Jerry's analysis. 3rd place paying $2,550.
Right here, Mossy Oak Mudslinger calf right here from Bob Wiznat. You know, a lot similar to the last bull. You know, he just gets right out there. He's got some spin. You know, he comes out that first kick. He comes up really high on the back end, and then for maybe one jump, he kind of loses that and then comes back. You know, so he's got some potential to be a lot better than he scored today. But really nice bull. Maybe didn't have quite the speed the last bull, but really, really similar to 2nd and 3rd place.
And Joel, if we could look at 7 from the bottom, that was Tippy Toes, owned by Brad and Jamie Bays, son of Major Payne. Take a look at him, and those will be the 4 bulls that collected checks. Here we go.
Another major pain calf, as Billy mentioned, they bought that bull here last year. Remember, he bucked really good last year. You know, he's kind of had some low times in between them, but comes back strong right here, gets it on right there in the gate. You know, those 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place bulls all really, really similar. You know, just did just slightly little things different to catch a judge's eye, but all 3 really good bulls.
So that concludes the underdog class. We're going to move into the champions class in just a moment. You are watching live coverage of Jane's Gang Buck Day and Barbecue live from the Jane's Gang Ranch in Orchard, Texas. Champions class coming up in a minute. We'll be right back.
You can own a bucking bull. No truck, no trailer, no ranch necessary. We do all the work while you have all the fun. Own an exclusive genetic $1 million bucking bull and take the journey of a lifetime, competing for close to $2 million in payouts. Compete in events just open to $1 million bulls. Compete for payouts that continue to be the highest in bucking bull history. Compete at premier events like the Academy of Country Music and the National Finals Rodeo. Join exclusive genetics customers from 41 states and 5 countries for the thrill of a lifetime by owning a bucking bull. Learn more about exclusive genetics at exclusivegenetics.com. When guests stay at any Red Roof Inn across the United States, they immediately notice 2 things. First, what a great price they're getting for a clean and comfortable room, and then how helpful the Red Roof staff is. I sum it up as nice place with nice prices. And now when you stay at Red Roof Inn, those great rates are even better. In honor of the first year of Bucking Bull TV, Red Roof Inn is offering our viewers an amazing 20% off discount anytime you stay at one of their inns. Just call Red Roof Inn Reservations and give them the code 612-322 or enter the code at www.redroofinn.com. Red Roof Inn, the official motel partner of Bucking Bull TV. And don't forget, your pets are always welcome for free.
Hi, welcome to Advanced Auto Parts Tip of the Week. This week we're going to talk about your battery charging system. If your car won't start, it doesn't always mean that the problem's your battery. It could be any part of the charging system, like the alternator or the starter. So be sure to find out exactly what the problem is before you buy parts you don't need. At most Advanced Auto Parts locations, we can test both the charging and the starting systems for free on most vehicles. That way you'll be solving the right problem the first time. So come see us at Advanced Auto Parts to see why service is our best part.
Jeff Bressler back with Jerry Hargis, Bucking Bull TV live coverage of Buck Day and Barbecue from the Janes Gang Ranch in Orchard, Texas. Jerry just saw the underdog class now moving into the champions class. And as we mentioned in the lead into the show, success in the champions class invitational here does not necessarily translate to success in the $1 million Bucking Bull Championship. The first year that we did this champions invitational, it was won by Larry and Vicky Knopfsinger's bull Captain. Captain did not do well in the $1 million Bucking Bull Championship. Last year it was split between Going Postal, that was Matt Griffin and the Rambling Verl Ranch Bull, and Who's Special, owned by Gary and Lori Forche. Going Postal went on, Jerry, to finish 23rd in the $1 million Bucking Bull Championship, a score of 76.60, check for 7,500. Who's Special finished 11th, just out of the money there. 84.40, 12,500. And once again, Captain didn't even make it into the top 25.
Yeah, you know, like I say, these bulls, they have ups and downs throughout the year. And, you know, if a bull's doing really good and peaking right now, you just hope to carry that on. And but sometimes that's not always true. You know, a bull that could be middle of the pack right here could easily go on to win later in the year.
Now, you know, a lot of bulls, you know, one of the things that I like to gauge, and one of the bulls that I'm high on to watch here is Bob Wisnat's bull, Jungle Wizard, who's going to be leading things off. And what I've seen in Jungle Wizard throughout the season and what I like is consistency in performances. This bull is always top 5, top, you know, within the top 10, and I don't even know if he's ever really finished out of the top 5. But that kind of consistency from early in the season shows me that he'll probably carry that through the season, other than one of those bulls that you might get an 87 out of, then his next performance is an 84 and 83. I think consistency is really a key factor here leading up to the $1 million Bucking Bull Championship.
Yeah, you're right, Jeff. They're just like human athletes. You know, some bulls are going to be consistent every single time. Like Jungle Wizard, he's really good. You know, he won $20,000 out there at Vegas. And then you're going to have those bulls who's, you know, a champ one day and a chump the next. But so, you know, the bulls, you know, you really can't count on one to do the exact same thing every single time. But that's why we play the game, and that's why we're here today.
We're going to throw it over to Billy Janes for a couple of moments.
Are we live?
We're live.
On the screen here, it's showing the.
We were showing some money winners and highlights while
Yes.
Jerry and myself were talking.
Got you. Well, all right. Hello out there in TV land, Bucking Bull TV land. This becomes my favorite time of the year every year for a couple of reasons. I think the day we crack out next year's bulls, which we're fixing to do in about an hour, we're going to crack out the 2015 bulls. I'm looking forward to that. But what you're fixing to see, every year it's my goal as owner of the Janes Gang to get at least 50% of the top 25 bulls out to the National Finals Rodeo. And you're fixing to see some of the ones that I think will get there and have a true chance to win the $500,000. I don't care which one of my customers wins the $500,000. I just want to win the $500,000. It's a lot for my customer and a lot for us as a training company, and we've been fortunate enough to do it 2 out of 3 times. Now, you know, the customers in this, the way we're doing it, we've changed up the format a little bit, Jeff and Jerry. We have 2 Champions Tour events, and the champion of each one of those events gets to move directly to Las Vegas in December to go for the $1 million. At the first one, it was Candy Cartel, who we're training, who's owned by Dick and Catherine Dial. And Dick and Catherine chose not to enter that bull this weekend. They chose to, let's not enter him there. We went to an open futurity with him a couple weeks ago. He placed there. And definitely one of the favorites. He won the Champions Tour 1, won the Champions Tour finale. Then at Champions Tour 2, a bull won called I'm Not Alexis, trained by Joe Black, that we're not training. So obviously that's a bull that I want to beat out there. Love Joe Black, friendly competition, but I want to win the $500,000. And then at the Champions Tour finale, the highest marked bull that hadn't made it was a bull you mentioned, Jerry, Jungle Wizard. And Bob Wisnat chose to enter him this weekend. And seems like Bob just draws first out a lot. He was first out last night in the Underdog. He was first out at the Texas Breeders' Classic a couple of weeks ago, and he's first out today. But I'm telling you, this bull has settled in. You can count
Here we go,
on
right
him.
there in the gate. Get him.
He's like them bulls that you saw before getting a bind in the chute. This bull's going to turn back right in the gate. He's learned how to clear himself from the chute, and he's going to spin right here. He's going to set the pace today. I'm pretty sure he's even going to beat Unknown Fever, who's double entered, and become the first place bull after he's the first out. But then we got some bulls coming in this thing like Miss Kitty's Peacemaker. I've been bragging on that bull all year long. He hasn't won one yet, but today may be the day. But like I've told Dennis and Christine Peavyhouse, we care about winning the $500,000, and that bull's got all the tools to do it. Well, Donald's telling me in the back that he's ready, so I'm going to get Dennis to load the chutes over here on the left, and we're going to let Jungle Wizard set the pace right here, and we're going to buck some Champions Class bulls.
As Billy Janes mentioned, Dick Dial electing not to buck Candy Cartel here today. Some of the other bulls that come out of the Janes Gang program that are certainly got to be considered contenders for the 2014 $1 million Bucking Bull Championship that are not going to be bucking today are Monkey Ears, Arm Yourself. He was a son of Mossy Oak mudslinger owned by Selman and Sons out of Midland, Texas. Won the Yearling Open last year with that son of Mossy Oak mudslinger. He is not here today, nor is Chris Woodruff's comeback kid. So all of those bulls also bulls to be on the lookout for that have elected not to buck in this event. So once again, kicking things off will be Jungle Wizard, 23-12, owned by Bob Wisnat. Pinball Wizard, Jungle Water, second in the Champions Tour finale, as Jerry Hargis mentioned, $20,000 there. Third in Champions Tour 1, $46.50. Fifth in Champions Tour 2. And Jerry, we saw this bull open things up, like Billy Janes was mentioning, at the Texas Breeders' Classic, scoring a really respectable 86 3/4 points against a really tough group of bulls.
Yeah, there was that. You know, that event's kind of a marquee event in the NBBA Association. There, and all the good bulls from around the country there, and for that bull to step up there and compete with those bulls and do really good, you know, that's a great thing to say about this bull. And you know, today, you know, I look for this bull to kind of do the same, be right there in the high.
That's a futurity bull.
You kind of see the step up in the classifications right here in this Champions class. That was a really nice bull. Had a lot of speed, a lot of kick, spun right there. Really nice bull.
Yeah, I tell you, that bull, like I told y'all, I mean, I think this bull just keeps getting better and better. He's learning what to do. He's learning how to handle himself. He maybe went a step further than he normally goes, but he was a step better than he normally is when he turned back. He kicked throughout the entire time. He had intensity. Y'all are going to see the difference between these Champions Class bulls and these underdog bulls that just went before. That bull, I'm looking for a really good score right there. I'm looking for him to set the pace for all these bulls to go after, and Bob's got to be happy with that trip. First, middle, or at the end, that bull could win it all today.
So we have one score posted already. That's Unknown Fever, who won the underdog. So the score to beat to go to the top is an 85.2. That's the score to beat. 87.5. 87.5. So 87.80, excuse me, 87.80 for Jungle Wizard. So he is now in the lead in the Champions Class Invitational. Coming up next, another bull to watch, Jerry Hargis. That's Who's Seasick, owned by the Calgary Connection, two-pair bucking bulls. That, of course, in that partnership, Gary and Lori Forche, son of Houdini, Slick Seas, won the underdog at the Academy of Country Music. Big check there for $10,000, scoring an 83.60. That also earned him a check in the Champions Class.
Yeah, he got another $12,500 on top of that. So we went out there to Vegas and won $22,500. Yeah, there's bulls won a lot of money, and great way to set the tone at 87.80. Now the field's going to be chasing him the rest of the day. It's really exciting when you have a bull to jump out there and do good right off the bat. Then everybody else is just playing catch up.
So Who's Seasick getting ready to buck? High-priced bull at Billy Jane's All-In Player Championship during the National Finals Rodeo, and I think he lived up to the standard that he set in Las Vegas as the high-priced bull. He shows improvement each time out.
That was a really good, solid bull right there. Not quite as good as the last one just because he doesn't just really get into a really tight, good spin. But he does have the kick. He doesn't have just a ton of speed and intensity, but, he's got a lot of tools. I really like how much this bull kicks. I mean, he's almost getting vertical several times there, but he kind of bucks almost in a wider circle, not just a tight little spin right there. So be interesting to see how the judges mark him.
That bull is owned by a group called the Calgary Connection. It's 10 Calgary oil men that Gary Forche put together. They won the Champions class, the underdog class at the Champions Tour finale, and Gary Gist Buckles is very happy because they ordered 10 duplicate buckles. All these guys go to the Calgary Stampede every year, and Gary said him and all the other 10 are going to be wearing their buckles proudly at the Calgary Stampede, telling everybody about their bull Who's Seasick back in the States. So they're happy with that bull. He's already won them a ton of money, and if he doesn't win them another penny, they've had a good time, but I think he's still got more money to win.
83-40, the score for Who's Seasick, putting him currently in third place. Coming up next is Camp Compass, owned by 2J Bucking Bulls, Leap of Faith Bucking Bulls, Amy West B&D Services, Mossy Oak Mudslinger, Jungle Water, half-brother to Jungle Wizard, finished sixth in the experience class in Locust Grove.
Here's another one of those bulls that came up through the All-In Players Championship out there in Las Vegas. A bull that's got some potential, got some buck to him. So as you mentioned, he's been in the experience class before. We'll see how he steps up in this Champions class.
Once again, another one of those bulls owned by syndicate, number of owners. When you have the opportunity this afternoon to look at some of these 2016 bulls that'll be for sale, always great to put together partnerships.
Boy right there doesn't have quite as much kick as the other ones. He's right there in the gate and faster than Who's Seasick, but he doesn't have near the kick than that other bull did, and kind of stays a little bit lower to ground. And so we'll kind of see how the judges mark them comparatively. But in my opinion, that just those bulls just don't have the kick. It's hard for them to score a lot of points.
Waiting for Camp Compass to exit the arena. Next bull up is going to be a bull that Billy James is high on and had discussed a moment ago. That's Miss Kitty's Peacemaker, son of Big Tex, legitimately juicy, owned by Dennis and Christine Peaverhouse. 7th in the Champions Tour finale, 15th in Champions Tour 1. Champions Tour 2, the bull gave a great effort there, finishing 3rd, 86.77. Also looked good in the Texas Breeders' Classic, Jerry, making the top 15 there, 86.5. And much like Jungle Wizard, this is another bull that all season long has shown a tremendous amount of consistency.
80.2 on that last one, Jeff, 80.2.
80.2 was the score for Camp Compass. So Ms. Kitty's Peacemaker, another bull that looks like a bona fide contender to get a good chunk of the action, $1 million Buck and Bull Championship up next.
You know, Dennis Peavyhouse won about $1,600 in the Calcutta last night. He won in both. He bought Codrick in both rounds and won with Codrick in both rounds. And it usually pays off to get a rider that can stay on for a while in that rider competition. So Dennis has already got about 500 to the good in his pocket from the Calcuttas last night, and looking to put several more thousand in his pocket right here.
Once again, top 3 currently. Jungle Wizard, who led things off, 87.80. Unknown Fever, winner of the underdog class, 85.2. Who's Seasick, 83.40 in 3rd place. Getting Miss Kitty's Peacemaker ready. Nice day here in Orchard, Texas. Look over the years that we've held the Jane's Gang Buck Day and barbecues. A few years have had like oppressive humidity. It's just really nice out today. Whoa.
Well, that was a really impressive bull right there. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, man, unbelievable.
That was a really good crossover. That Big Tex, legitimately juicy. That bull really, really bucked. He just couldn't quite, keep it all together right here. He kind of stumbles a little bit, goes back the other way, and then can't quite just get it all in spin. But I tell you, that's probably one of the buckingest bulls we've seen here. Just probably not going to see a really high score from the judges, unfortunately.
Now, from what I understand, Dennis Peavyhouse is reliving his second childhood here. He's gone into some senior bull ridings. I was going to ask him about it yesterday. I didn't have the chance to ask him about that when we were chatting. You ever do any of those bull ridings, Jerry?
I'm about done. I'm retired, Jeff.
That bull hasn't, I've been telling Dennis and Christine, and I've picked that bull at every single event this year to win it, and something's happened at every single event. But like Jerry said, there's not a more talented bull in the bunch. He tries so stinking hard every time. Sometimes he gets too close to shoot like he did right there. Then he tries to clear himself and go back to right, and he kind of stumbles right here one time and just throws him off his game. He's still going to have a decent score because the judges are going to reward him for that intensity, his kick, his effort, but he's going to have a hard time getting up there at the top just because he had a couple of missteps.
So Miss Kitty's Peacemaker moves into 3rd place, score of 84 points. Another bull coming up that can certainly crack the leaderboard here, that's Lavalanche, owned by the Reed family. Lavalanche is son of Avalanche, legitimately juicy, 10th in Champions Tour 1. Champions Tour 2, excuse me. In Champions Tour 1, finished 3rd, big 88 points there. 6th in the Champions Tour finale, 83.75 points. Nice bull here in Lavalanche.
Yeah, full brother to stunt like my daddy, and that just shows you these genetics are just so important in this game right here. And you see him kind of acting up, and the shoe, hopefully he can calm down just a little bit, not wear himself out. But here's a bull that's kind of been one of his problems from day one, is kind of been a little active in that chute, a little ornery, but he's really got some juice and speed when he comes out of that chute.
Now, Stunt Like My Daddy was one of those bulls, you talk about genetics, that bellows. And sometimes people say that's a bad sign of a bull, that they don't like what they're doing. But Stunt Like My Daddy has certainly proved that he was a great 2-year-old as well as a great cowboy bull. Now, this bull's going to do the same thing out here for the most part. He'll go out and bellow while he's bucking. But he does it for the positive, really, not the negative that some people think of that. So Lavalanche getting ready to come up.
I think the Reeds made a smart move. You know, they had such a great bull and said, hey, we're going to go with the exact same recipe here with this bull, and it's proven to pay out so far. Dennis Davis getting close.
Three monies once again for those watching at home. $4,500 for the winner, $2,700 for second, $1,800 for third. If you are watching on Buck and Bull, let's take a look at Lavalanche.
Well, that's a definitely nice trip right there. That bull has so much kick and fire coming out of that first jump there. The only thing you can knock this bull is once he gets into that spin and gets going here, he kind of forgets his kick. He gets to going so fast, which happens sometimes when the bulls get to going spinning so fast. He loses a little bit of kick, but he kind of makes up for it in intensity. So we'll see if he's able to crack that top three.
So nice trip by Lavalanche once again to crack the top three. Currently sitting in third, Miss Kitty's Peacemaker with 84 points.
What's exciting to me about that bull and all the syndications you see happening, Skippy and Linda Johnson have the Full Brothers, the Vortex Madness. Dick Dial's got Asteroid Calf out of Kahoo. You got the California OMG Syndicate by Lana and Bill that is OMG over Sister Willie. You got 3 Full Brothers back here. But that being a full brother to Stunting Like My Daddy, wouldn't it be neat in a couple years if you turned on your TV at the PBR or the National Finals Rodeo and you had Stunting Like My Daddy and then Lavalanche going 2 full brothers back to back? I'm not sure that's ever happened, but there's a time coming when it will. And that bull right there is going to be great. I mean, especially once you go to getting a cowboy on him with some spurs and he settles down and doesn't wear himself out in the chute. I mean, he's going to be a great bull for a long time. And Larry and Rhonda Reed told me, it's everybody's dream when they get in this to have a bull buck at the PBR. They got to do that last year with Stunting Like My Daddy, and they said that was worth every penny they've spent in the bucking bull business to be at the PBR with Stunting Like My Daddy bucking there. And then they won, too. They finished third last year with a 3-year-old in the Classic. Now he's going back. I told him last week after he won Pueblo, I said, man, you're going to get to do it again. Some people don't even get to do it once, and they just feel lucky. And I think they got another bull coming here with Lavalanche, and that's just exciting to me to see the genetics really taking over the industry like they are.
Yeah, Lavalanche moving into second place, just inching out Unknown Fever there, 85.40. So Lavalanche moves into second, 85.40. Now coming up Wheel of Fortune, owned by Jason and Amy Mogg. Mossy Oak Mudslinger, Hell on Wheels, won the Underdog in Locust Grove. That was Champions Tour 2. Fourth in the Champions class there also. So that was another bull that was one of those bulls that during the season here, double-entered both Underdog and Champion, and it paid off at the pay window. Fifth at the finale, the Champions Tour finale, 84 points, $5,000 there. So this bull, in my mind, has always fallen a little bit under the radar, Jerry Hargis, and continues to show improvement and has to be considered one of the contenders for the $1 million.
Yeah, and here's another bull with a great story. As a young calf, that dummy hung on him one time. He was bucking really good. That dummy hung on him, then he kind of slacked off for a few trips there. They gave him a long break, and he's coming back really good.
Solid as a rock.
Very, very solid right there. You'll notice he has a lot more kick in the back end than the last bull, but doesn't have quite the intensity, but he turns back just right there. So if you're interested, that'd be a bull that's going to be real close to cracking that top three.
Like Jerry said, that bull, it's very, very rare. We didn't have the double latch dummy when we were bucking that bull, and I wish we did because he was phenomenal. They bought him last year here in the Bucket Now. They actually bought him before even he bucked. And he bucked the first day we bucked him. He's bucked every time, spun, and that dummy hung up. And we thought ruined him because the next time we tried to buck him after that, he just wanted to stop. And so I told Jason and Amy, I said, let's just turn him out. give him 3 or 4 months off and see if he comes back. And he is coming back and coming back strong. He's kicking more than he was before. And I see the scores, Kay's got him in. So I'm going to say that bull is going to give it up into that second place hole. I don't think he's going to beat Jungle Wizard, but I think he is going to crack, get number 2 spot. What do you got?
84, Billy. 84 points for Wheel of Fortune. And the Mogs have to be happy, even though they're not going to be in contention for a check here. Every great performance as you get down to this time of the year, May, June, July, is just get you one step closer to going to Las Vegas and doing well.
Yeah, exactly right. And 84 points still, that could be a bull that could easily step up to 85, 86 when come time for preliminaries. But put him in split in 4th place right now.
Downwind coming up next. Wisnat, Swalen, and Isaacs, Carrillo Cartel, Sharp Dressed Woman. 14. This bull was really nice, finishing 4th in the 2013 Gold Buckle Championship for yearling bulls during the National Finals Rodeo. And Billy Jane's Bucking Bull games made $7,500 there. Finished 18th in Champions Tour 1, good respectable 6th place finish in Champions Tour 2. Bull shown inconsistency going into 15th place in the finale in Las Vegas back in April.
Yeah, kind of disappointing. Those bulls got a lot of potential. He can really, really buck when he wants to. Just kind of been one of those bulls we keep talking about. Can be up and down, and he's got a long time between now and the preliminaries. Sure don't want to see him acting up in that chute, but that's just part of the business when you mess with these young bulls.
So Downwind coming up next. For those watching on Bucking Bull TV, going to have to let this bull out and run him down the alley one more time here and restack.
He kind of flipped himself over backwards there.
So Downwind's going to be let out of the arena, get him lined up again and bring him on back at the end.
Sometimes the circumstances just call for us to buck him out of order, and that was a situation. That bull was in a bind. We weren't going to get him up. So we just let him out. We'll bring him back at the end. And, sometimes you think you got these bulls trained. You give them a little break. That bull, we've given him probably 6 weeks to 8 weeks off of being in the bucking chute, of working with him, and he comes in here and just throws the fit. And if you don't think these bulls know there's something different going on, and you don't think it's sometimes close, this bull we're fixing to bring you in right here, before we bring him in, I want to tell you it just happened. Y'all don't get to see what all happens in the back, but this is a bull that could win the $500,000, and he was just as close to being dead as he is alive. I mean, sometimes back here when you're working bulls, they just get too nervous. This Jumping Jack Flash bull who Brad Bays give $40,000 for, he just run, and I mean as hard as you can, straight into the fence. I've seen them drop over dead when that happens, break their neck or break their nose and everything. He's got a little bit of a bloody nose here, but he's not breathing hard or anything, so we don't think he's really hurt himself. But it could have went one way or the other. I mean, I've seen him hit the front of the squeeze chute. It happens a low percentage of the time, but it happens. They just get amped up and excited with all the people here, all the bulls. And I think that's what happened with that last bull, and I think that's what happened here with Jumping Jack Flash. But we're going to bring him on in here, and you may be in for a treat because this bull's really been peaking here lately.
Jumping Jack Flash, owned by Brad and Jamie Bays. Pinball Wizard Jungle Water, Jerry Hargis. That makes him a full brother to Jungle Wizard, currently holding the lead here. Finished 8th in the Champions Tour finale, 9th in Champions Tour 2, 10th in Champions Tour 1. So top 10 finishing bull every time he goes out. And then Billy James mentioned the contender for the $1 million Bucking Bull Championship.
Yeah, he's talking about him picking. He's going to really have to pick today to beat. He's going to have to crack 88 points to move in the lead, and that's going to be a tall challenge right here. But a bull that can do it. It's possible.
So Jumping Jack Flash up next.
He is, from a flank man's perspective and a trainer, You like them like this, but they make you nervous as can be too. He's so amped up right now. The bull is. He's on edge, and he's not looking the right way. Just pull on his hips there and try to get him.
Powerful there once he got into his pattern.
Yeah, really good. That's a muscled up, neat little built bull right there. Just took him a little too long to get into it. You know, as you see, it takes him 4 or 5 jumps out here, but then once he does, really, really spectacular bull getting into that spin right there. You just need him to do it a little bit closer to the chute gate.
So that was Jumpin' Jack Flash waiting on a score for him.
You know, that bull's one of my favorites. You know, I talk about Miss Kitty's Peacemaker and some of these other bulls, but that's another bull as a trainer. You love to train them, but you just, I mean, my adrenaline, it's back when I used to ride bulls. When I'm flanking a bull like that or around a bull like that, my heart just gets to pounding because I know it's like it's your son there. He's got what it takes. You know he can do it, but you know he's so amped up and so excited. You know, I have to tell my son he plays baseball sometimes and he gets amped up and wanting to play and you don't think it's clear. And it's the same way with these bulls right here. That bull was so amped up and that's what caused him to go 3 or 4 jumps. But I think we're still going to see a good score. I was wrong a little bit earlier on the Wheel of Fortune, but I think we're going to get a good score. That bull finished so stinking strong there, getting in the air and coming around. It ought to be interesting to see what the judges say. But the good news for Brad Bays, I'd rather have a bull like that and know I had a chance to win $500,000 than have a bull that I know I'm just going out there to finish 20th or 30th place right there. And it's just up to us and up to Jumpin' Jack Flash to just settle down just an inch. I mean, he was back here trying to kill himself, and there you could see him. He was just shivering. He's ready to go. And we don't want to touch him too much because we're afraid he'll kick, but we're afraid he's going to kick the front of the chute. It's just so many decisions you got to make right there at the last second with a bull like that. What kind of score did we get?
82-40, 82.40 for Jumpin' Jack Flash. Lining up next in the chute is going to be Pinball Kid, owned by Johnston Corsi, Dace Van Meter, Kutcherkowski, and Hale. Pinball Wizard Kid Tiger. This bull looked great in Las Vegas at the Champions Tour finale. Strong second place finish. $88,000, and that was, if I remember correctly, that wasn't in the Champions class, that was in the Underdog. So Pinball Kid just showing consistent improvement in why he belongs in the Champions class.
Yeah, you're definitely right, Jeff. He was in the Underdog class and scored 85, so that kicked him out of that. So, you know, any of those bulls can come up and get better, and here's one that's definitely done that and won himself $8,000 out there.
Pinball Kid coming up. Pinball Wizard has proven himself to be a really stout sire, and that bull owned by exclusive genetic customer Chuck Rogers out of Reed City, Michigan. I think it was last year he purchased Pinball Wizard to be his herd sire.
It's one of those bulls that's got some really strong traits that he passes on. Some of these sires that the calves come out looking all different colors, but a lot of these Pinball Wizard calves are really similar in color. You know, they kind of white and got the darker head, and they're a little smaller in stature, but usually really neat little bulls that spin right there really fast.
So getting ready here on Pinball Kid, of course, his daddy, Pinball Wizard, just a real intense, fast little spinning bull himself.
I think that bull was on track to have a really good day and then kind of hit himself. Like we've seen a lot of these bulls just get so excited to buck, they turn back so fast that sometimes they jam themselves up right there, just as he did. You'll see his hip hits on the fence right there, and when all it does, it kind of throws him off, and he comes back out another jump and gets back into it. So I don't think he'll be good enough to get in that top 3, but a bull that you know it can be a lot better than that.
So get the score on Pinball Kid. Then, if I'm not mistaken, the next 2 bulls that we're going to be up were 2 bulls that bucked in the Underdog class, Thumper Bumper and Unknown Fever. So there should be 1 bull left in the chute and 1 of the bulls that we re-racked to conclude things here.
No, we have 2 left.
Yeah, we have Wilder Than Water and the bull that we're rebucking out of the 81-20 the score, 81-20 the score there for Pinball Kid. Coming up next is going to be Wilder Than Water, owned by the Bioko Buckers. Wildfire Jungle Water, again half-brother to the current leader, Jungle Wizard. Bull finished 14th in the finale, 14th Champions Tour 2, 7th in Champions Tour 1.
They're going to go back to downwind right here.
So we're going back to downwind. Downwind, if you recall, that bull had flipped over in the chute, so we had to open the gate and let him out and reload him down into the alley. Wiznat, Swalen Isaacs, Carrillo Cartel, Sharp-Dressed Woman. As a yearling 2013, we mentioned, fourth in the Gold Buckle Challenge, $7,500 there.
You know, if this bull bucks, it'll be a miracle. You know, usually this is one thing you don't like to see is they just wear themselves out in here, and they're so amped up between being too amped up and being wore out. When they get out of the chute, they just don't have a lot left to give you. You know, my guess is he'll go out here and he'll turn back and spin, but Dennis is going to go ahead and flank him with him kind of laying down, try to get him out of here before he goes all the way down.
Look at a bull like ZY He's Twisted, Jerry, that last year literally came out of the chute sometimes with his tongue hanging out of his mouth because he was so much to handle with. But as a 3-year-old, you could see with good training techniques, he became a manageable bull.
Right there, like I say, just no fuel left in the tank. You know, he just wore himself out in there and then having to go around and come back in the chute. That bull's he's just completely tired. You know, got to bring him back another day and it'll be a whole different story. But just today, he just didn't have any juice left.
So one bull remaining in the champions class with Jungle Wizard currently holding the lead, 87.80. Lavalanche second, 84.40. Unknown Fever third, 85.20. Wilder Than Water, Bioko Buckers, Wildfire Jungle Water. Mid-pack kind of bull here, 14th in the finale, 14th at Champions Tour 2, 7th at Champions Tour number 1. Bioko Buckers are a bunch of guys in the oil business that are in the Bioko Islands in Africa. Guys from the United States that are working and living currently in Africa. They put together a little syndicate, and their main bull here is Wilder Than Water.
Yeah, you know, Jeff, I think Jerry will agree with me. You say he's a mid-packer, and he has been just that, but he's way capable of being more than a mid-packer. This is a bull that we've had to work with a lot. He's gone out there a ways. We finally got him over here to the right, and we got him where he's going closer. I mean, this bull is good enough and has the potential and the tools to win this event. If he puts it all together and does it for the full 4 or 5 seconds, he can beat Jungle Wizard. But what I love about, you know, I always tell people, it don't matter if your bull's supposed to win it. These judges are professionals. You can be first, you can be in the middle, you can be at the end. The thing I'm more concerned about is who I follow when I'm there. You know, I don't want to follow a 90-point bull, you know, it go right behind him. But it doesn't matter if you're first in the middle. We've shown it today. Jungle Wizard's first out. We're down to the last bull, and he's still winning it. But David Finley's with us here today. He flew in from Africa here a week ago. He said his crew's in the Bioko Islands watching, but he's right here at the Orchard Ranch. Let's load him up, and let's see if we can get a good day out of Wilder Than Water. And, Jerry, you got a little bit of story about this bull. You kind of helped him help this bull.
Yeah, you know, David had asked me a little bit, a few of the bulls that I thought would make good bulls, and I looked through the videos, and this bull showed a lot of potential, you know, and unfortunately he's kind of had his ups and downs. You know, I think he scored as high as 86 or so. So we know he's got to get him, and I know this crew that's behind him that invested in him, you know, they're pulling for this bull, and he's one of those that's got potential, but needs to get him all put it together on the same day.
Certainly did break the 86-point mark in Champions Tour number 1, 86.20, his score right out of the box earlier in the year as we held that event here in Orchard, Texas.
You know what's interesting, guys, you know, David come up to me earlier, and with this new breeder certification program, he said, tell me a little bit more about that, and I think you're going to see more of this happen. He's saying, so if I buy breeder certifications, I can go to anybody I want and certify their calves? I said, absolutely. I think you're going to see these competitive guys out there, like a David Finley and a group, go to guys that raise bulls like Jerry and the Pages and stuff. Let's see his bull butt. We'll talk more about that.
Yeah, workman-like, no mid-packer here today.
There we go, right there. That's kind of what Billy's talking about. You know, this bull has got the potential to be pretty good, and it's going to be interesting to see if he cracks that top 3. I think it's going to be really close to being in there, being a good money-placing bull. You know, well, like he gets better as he goes, as he keeps getting more air and keeps getting better and better as he goes. That's always something you like to see as an owner and trainer both.
You know, the thing about that bull, Jeff and Jerry, is and like Jerry talked about earlier, you get to know your bulls. This bull does not haul well. Everywhere we take him, he just falls apart. He loses 100, 150 pounds, gets drawn in 2. And so I recommended today to this group a while, let's move this bull to Bull Barn, get him at the top of his game health-wise, and I think it's really paying off. You're seeing this bull. Of course, it's not really fair to say here at home that he stayed together because he was here at home. He's still got to go on the road, and this is a bull that we'll probably send to an event or two just to make him haul and go away from home and stay together right there. But boy, he's really starting to put it together for the BBQ group. And for you guys there in Africa, congratulations. I said it earlier and I was wrong. I'm going to say it again. I think that bull is going to get up there in the top 3. I'm going to have to go with Jungle Wizard, a hair better than that bull, in my opinion, but it's not my opinion that matters today. But I think that bull is going to be second place. Let's see what the judges say.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct, Billy James. Wilder Than Water, moves into second place, 86 points. So Jungle Wizard unofficially declared your winner, 87.80. Finishing second with 86 points, Wilder Than Water. Lavalanche collecting that third money slot with 85.40, just edging out Unknown Fever at 85.20. So that concludes both the champions class as well as the underdog class here at Buck Day and Barbecue. And I'll be back with Jerry Hargis in just a minute with some closing comments. You're watching Buck Day and Barbecue from the Janes Gang Ranch in Orchard, Texas.
You can own a bucking bull. No truck, no trailer, no ranch necessary. We do all the work while you have all the fun. Own an exclusive genetic $1 million bucking bull and take the journey of a lifetime, competing for close to $2 million in payouts. Compete in events just open to $1 million bulls. Compete for payouts that continue to be the highest in bucking bull history. Compete at premier events like the Academy of Country Music and the National Finals Rodeo. Join exclusive genetics customers from 41 states and 5 countries for the thrill of a lifetime by owning a bucking bull. Learn more about exclusive genetics at exclusivegenetics.com. When guests stay at any Red Roof Inn across the United States, they immediately notice 2 things. First, what a great price they're getting for a clean and comfortable room, and then how helpful the Red Roof staff is. I sum it up as nice place with nice prices. And now when you stay at Red Roof Inn, those great rates are even better. In honor of the first year of Buck and Bull TV, Red Roof Inn is offering our viewers an amazing 20% off discount anytime you stay at one of their inns. Just call Red Roof Inn Reservations and give them the code 612-322 or enter the code at www.redroofinn.com. Red Roof Inn, the official motel partner of Buck and Bull TV. And don't forget, your pets are always welcome for free.
Hi, welcome to Advanced Auto Parts Tip of the Week. This week we're going to talk about your battery charging system. If your car won't start, it doesn't always mean that the problem's your battery. It could be any part of the charging system like the alternator or the starter. So be sure to find out exactly what the problem is before you buy parts you don't need. At most Advanced Auto Parts locations, we can test both the charging and the starting systems for free on most vehicles. That way you'll be solving the right problem the first time. So come see us at Advanced Auto Parts to see why service is our best part.
Jeff Bressler back with Jerry Hargis as we wrap things up here from the morning session at Buck Day and Barbecue at the Janes Gang Ranch in Orchard, Texas. And Jerry Hargis, Jungle Wizard, finishing second to Dick Dial and Catherine Dial's Candy Cartel, who really has established himself as a favorite for the $1 Million Buck and Bull Championship. But he just missed out on winning the Champions Tour finale against Candy Cartel, coming off that great finish at the Texas Breeders' Classic, and just pouring it on here today to win with an 87.80.
Yeah, that's a really solid out right there. That bull gets it on and has a lot of kick, spin, speed. He's got everything the judges like right there.
So Jungle Wizard finishing first. Last bull to buck, Wilder Than Water, taking second place here in the Champions Tour division, finishing third, Lavalanche. So that concludes we see the Champions Tour results up on the board as we go down there. You see Lavalanche, Unknown Fever, who scored an 85.20, and the underdog that translated and carried over here to the Champions class. He just missed out on a check. Miss Kitty's Peacemaker, Wheel of Fortune, who's seasick, Jumping Jack Flash, and we'll go down to Pinball Kid and acknowledge his performance here today. We're going to be back, Jerry Hargis, at 12:55 Central Time with something that's always a lot of fun. We're going to be able to see 2015 eligible $1 Million Buck and Bulls buck for the very first time. And Jerry Hargis is just... What's no? So, and that's always a great time, and you're going to see how some of, Billy keeps on talking, Jerry Hargis, about how he keeps on refining the breeding program, and I'm really looking forward to that. It should be a special treat.
Yeah, as you can see, there's different sires always winning. We had a Pinball Wizard son come in first place, a Wildfire son come in second there, and then on down to Avalanche son. It's interesting to see, as you're talking about, as they progress in these next yearling calf crop, what the sires are going to be the best producers. That's what, to me, one of the most interesting things today, just seeing, they'll come out in groups of buck all this sire, then another sire, and it's really interesting to see how those genetics all play out.
So watch the youngins buck on Buck and Bull TV, 12:55 Central Time. Until then, for my broadcast partner, Jerry Hargis, Jeff Bressler, wishing you a good afternoon.